welcome to the weekly Leaders Digest, hosted by Dominate Your Day podcast. This is your hub for strengths-based leadership insights. I'm Dana Williams. I'm a leadership coach and strengths advocate dedicated to empowering difference makers just like you to create a lasting impact. Are you a leader feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or yearning to make a bigger difference? You're in the right place. Each week, we're going to explore ways that you can leverage your unique strengths and give yourself a boost of productivity and energy and confidence. Whether you're a seasoned executive or an emerging leader, this podcast is your weekly dose of inspiration and practical strategies that's going to help you unlock your full potential. Let's dive in and ignite your leadership journey. So welcome back to our May series on navigating change. This week, we're tackling a challenge I hear constantly from the leaders I coach. Here's what they say. I know this change is necessary, but my team just won't get on board. Does this sound familiar? Here's what's fascinating. The challenge usually isn't the change itself, it's the disconnection that happens during the transition. Most of you have heard of the change curve. It's kind of like the grief cycle. And what happens is when people hear about a change, there's a lot of, they're sad, they're seeing it as a loss, they're stressed. And then they finally get, they kind of go down and they get in this pit. And then it's up to the leader to pull them out because they're stuck in this kind of resistance. And we want to get them from resistance to accepting and innovating and leading the change. And each person is different. So one of the most powerful tools that I use with my clients is understanding each person's unique pattern of natural talents. When we know how each of our team members are naturally wired to think, feel, and behave, we gain incredible insight into how they process change. So here's 3 approaches that work wonders. First, just map out your team's natural strengths. If you've taken Clifton Strengths, you can get your team grid and you'll have everybody's strengths and you can map it out. If you don't have Clifton Strengths and you just want to map out their natural talents, you can get everybody in a room. This is simpler than it sounds. For team members who naturally think strategically, ask them to identify what they see as the potential roadblocks and solutions. As a leader told me today over lunch, one of the things she does is she invites her leaders into the messy middle and helps them be a part of the change. And then they start owning it and coming up with things they can do to help themselves get through that change curve. And it's really about asking them to break down the change into manageable steps. Once my client collaborated with her team on analyzing the data, supporting the change, and the resistant person became her strongest advocate. They just needed to process the change through their natural thinking styles. Second, hold what I call perspective exchange forums. These are a little bit different than asking for people of where the resistance might be. This is more about just hearing and listening to them. And so these are safe spaces and where we're going to ask for value, just people to share their thoughts, their feelings. Their opposition isn't going to be treated as a problem. The key here is that you want to set up a listening center, just to listen without fixing, without solving, just listening. Do you know how hard that is? So many of us get in a situation where we're listening to somebody and we're trying to fix their problem right away. Hold yourself back from trying to solve, but listen. And just take notes and listen and gather the data. It doesn't take that long, and you'll have so much more information if you just say, come to the listening room, tell me what's going on. I just want to hear. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to try to fix it. It's a safe space. And last, I want you to think about how you can develop change champions based on their natural aptitudes, not just positional authority. So say you have a few managers or supervisors, you would naturally go to them. But I would look for your people who are going through the change curve and they're already up here ready to implement the change. They're going to be your biggest advocates. Sometimes your most influential change supporters aren't even in management roles. What I found after years of coaching is this: the most effective change leaders don't push harder. They connect deeper. So this week, I'm curious, what unspoken needs might be driving resistance on your team? Try looking beneath the surface and trying to determine what's going on, what's really happening. And if you're struggling to navigate team resistance and want help discovering how everyone's unique talents can create smoother transitions, reach out for a discovery call. There's a link in the show notes. And until next week, remember that understanding your team's natural talents is your secret weapon during change. Thank you for tuning in to the weekly Leaders Digest. Remember, you're unique, and there's no reason for you to settle for anything less than being a difference maker with impact. I truly believe that when you embrace your uniqueness, you'll find yourself more productive, more energized, and more confident, all in your leadership journey. If you've enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and share it with fellow leaders. Your feedback in the form of ratings or reviews means the world to me. And if you're ready to take that next step in your leadership journey, visit our website, danawilliamsco.com, to schedule a discovery call or pick up your copy of the Strengths Journal. Until next week, this is Dana reminding you that your strengths are your superpower. Use them well.